All right, so this assignment is about subtraction of color. And out of all of the color study assignments, the Josef Albers assignments, this is the most difficult. But it can also be the most rewarding because you can literally manipulate color and change it. Um, um, you'll have more practice doing this, and you'll kind of be proud at the end of the assignment. So, what the objective here is you're trying to make two colors look like one. So I'm just going to zoom in here so you can see these are two colors that I selected. And based, and I'm trying to make them appear the same. So these two stripes here, as you can see, let me just use my annotation. So this stripe here and this stripe here look the same. They're not perfect, but they look very similar, right? At quick glance, you would assume they're the same color. The thing is that this color is this color, and this color is this color. So these are the original two colors. You can see how far different that they are. One is yellow, one's purple, one's light, one's dark. In terms of saturation, they're about the same. So I'm going to get into why or how I went about changing the background, the selection of colors, the theory behind everything. But all the assignments you've done thus far prepared you for this assignment here. All right, so I'm going to scroll down more. So your objective, you're going to select two different colors from your colored paper and make them appear the same by altering the background color. When selecting hues, values, and intensities, be sure to select colors that are different enough to recognize, but close enough to appear the same. I'll explain that later. You don't want to pick a bright blue and a bright red. You're not going to make them look the same, but you could have a desaturated blue and a desaturated red possibly look the same. So and they're different enough, and I'll help you figure all that out in class. Through applying color theory based on the contrast of hue, value, intensity, the first assignment that you did, you will have the ability to manipulate properties of color by changing the grounds. Watch the video below for details. So this video here, this is me in my studio, and I had some coloring paper around, and I tried to make the two colors looks very similar, and I did two different versions of it. It's about a 14-minute video, but it's very helpful. The layout, this layout is going to be very similar to the previous assignment, with the exception that you're going to have two stripes on each page. So the two stripes in the middle are the stripes that look similar. Okay. So those are the colors that you're trying to appear to be the same. The stripes over on the far left, let me get my thingy here. The stripes over here on the far left and far right, they're going to be inverted, the reverse. And the reason why you're doing this is because it's kind of fun to see how much of a difference this color changes when you flip it on the when you put it on the other paper. And same with this one, like how much different this one compared to this one here. So it's nice to see the reverse of the subtraction that you're doing. And then at the very bottom, you're going to have your a 4-inch strip of both colors adjacent to one another, centered. And in this one, you just want to be aware that you're going to be a 1/2 inch from the top. The bottom's going to have a 1-inch border. The sides are going to be centered because you're going to measure 5 inches from the far left side. You're going to mark a line, and you're going to line all, and then mark a line here, 1/2 inch all the way across. And then you'll have that corner so you can just lay down this full sheet of paper here. And then this full sheet of paper here. Once you do that, then you cut your stripes. Your stripes are 6 inches, which is the same length of the paper. And you're going to cut what I forgot to put on here. These are 3/16 inch or 1/8 of an inch. You can try a quarter, see if that works too. But I think the smaller the slice, the better effect you're going to get. Okay, so let's move on. And below are some examples of this assignment, but they're different layouts. So for example, this one is the two colors that appear to be the same, and then you flip them down here and they look different, and then these are the original two. This is basically the same thing where the two colors here look the same. These are the original two, and then you flip them. This one does not flip them, but these two colors appear to look the same. They both appear to be gray. You don't challenge that. And these are the two original colors. I found this online. This is kind of a unique, looks like a logo of some sort, but it's a unique approach to this. So what they're doing here is they're using this color and why that's the worst color for me to use. They're using this color and trying to make these two look the same by changing the backgrounds. And the backgrounds you can see are the root colors of these colors anyway. If you were to mix these up, that's what the gradient would look like. So you can see that this color and this color look the same, but when you put them adjacent to one another right here, they're clearly different. So this is a nice little arrangement or layout, or an interesting way to go about it. So I appreciated that. And there's another different version of it here, same concept. So that's the project in a nutshell. And I'm just going to talk about a few things really quickly. When you're, I'm going to go to my Photoshop page. So if you look here, this is what I was tinkering around with. And if you can look at my history, well, I'm not going to jump into history, but I tried different yellows. I was working with cool yellows, and that changed this. It didn't change where I wanted it to be. So I tried a warm yellow. I tried a true yellow. I tried green. I tried all sorts of different colors in that world to see if it would work, but the green makes this too red. Why? Because red's the opposite color. So I'm going to tell you the theory of how I figured this out. Let me just go back. My original yellow. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want to look at the two colors you selected. And these are pretty far apart, to be honest. This is probably the furthest I could get these apart to make them look almost the same. But the difference between these two is you're going to write this down. What are the differences between these two colors in terms of hue, value, and intensity? We'll start with hue. This hue is violet. This hue is yellow. So that's clearly different. Write that down. The next thing is value. The yellow value is lighter, and the purple value is darker. Hold on a second. Change my color. There we go. This one's darker. And in terms of intensity, the purple and the yellow, on a scale of intensity, intense being super intense of a color like this one here, this color here, as opposed to a pure gray, these are slightly desaturated, but they both look similar in saturation. So I'd say they're even on saturation levels, so I don't have to worry about intensity being part of the solution to this problem. The only two things I have to think about is value and hue. So now I'm trying to figure out my objectives. My objective is to make this purple look yellow and make this yellow look purple. In addition to that, I'm trying to make this purple look lighter in value, and I'm trying to make this yellow look darker in value. So let's start with value first. Value is the easiest thing. To make something look darker, you put something lighter behind it, hence the light value you see here, the light yellow. I'll talk about why I chose yellow in a minute, but you can see why there's a light value here, because it's lighter than this, and it's going to make it look darker. And the purple I wanted to make look lighter. So hold on a second. Okay, so now I'm trying to make the violet look lighter, so I have to put a darker value behind it. So you can kind of see that this purple here is darker in terms of value than the strip here. All right, so value's done, right? I've got them to be similar in tone and value. That's good. Now I'm trying to get them similar in color, right? So in order to make this look more violet, the objective is that I'm trying to make it look violet. And if you look at a color wheel, the opposite of violet is yellow. And so that's why I chose yellow behind it. Now, I knew yellow was the area that I wanted to be in. So that's why I tried yellow orange. I tried yellow green. I tried pure yellow. And it started to kind of work better when it was just slightly yellow orange. Just a tinge of orange was the better result. But I tried them all. And that's what you have to do. So that's what worked there. And this one here, I chose purple. Why? Because I'm trying to make this look yellow. So the opposite of purple is yellow, right? So if I'm trying to make it look like something, you have to think about the opposite. This whole entire assignment is opposites. You're always thinking in opposites. So I put purple behind it. I put an intense purple behind it for two reasons. One is it helped to also gray this out. And I'll explain that in a minute because gray did start to play a role in here because this kind of grayed out. So then I had to gray this out. And the opposite color of purple is yellow. So that's going to make this appear more yellow compared to this one. Not a lot, but because it's already violet, the yellow is going to mix with the violet optically, and it's going to gray it out anyway. And then once I settle on purple, then I'm going to think, is it a neutral purple? Is it a blue purple? Is it a red purple, right? Red violet, neutral violet, or red violet, purple violet are the same thing. And so I kind of started to lean towards red violet. I thought that worked best. It warmed this up more than the other colors. So I tried everything I possibly could. And after doing that, I made some final tweaks, some final adjustments, and I got it to where I wanted it. So I'm going to clear this out and scroll down and zoom it out. There we go. So again, when I was looking at my color picker here, you can see over here on the right-hand side, I'm in the red violet zone, right? I did earlier try blue violet or more of a neutral violet. And so I worked these guys out. I tried to see if that worked. That's not bad, actually. I kind of like that better. This might be better. That's a good example too. Oh, it's funny because I'm making this video and now I like this one better. Well, there you go. So when you make those subtle adjustments, that helps out a lot. So let's go back to see what I did have before. Well, that looks good too. So from a quick glance, it probably doesn't change it that much. I mean, they both work. So I'm just going to settle with this guy since I already selected it. But again, you can make those adjustments in your colored paper, and that's it. You're always thinking in opposites. Opposites. I want to make something look green. What's the opposite of green? Then you put that behind it. I want to make something look dark, and then you put something light behind it. I want to make something light, you put something dark behind it. Alrighty. See ya.